What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Showtime. It is the Blazer King, and we're back with. Oh, wait. The Blazer King with King's Critiques. There we go. That's how that was supposed to go. Sorry. I was thinking about how to word this first show, and, yeah, anyway, let's get into it. We're here with the letter O, and I guess P as well, because there's not really a ton of either. For the off top of my head anime reviews. And the first one to review is one of those weird ones. Okasama ga Seito Kaicho. My wife is the student council president, and this is one of those ones that's just I don't know how to really put it. Like, I don't remember this one well, but I remember it, and it has your school life, obviously, as your romance in a sense, but it also has a lot of unneeded sexual activity. Like, they're not actually doing anything overly lewd. Like, it's an uncensored show, and they show a lot of boobs, but it's not like Hybrid Heart or Redo Healer or something like that. But, it's surprisingly long for being what it is. Then again, so High School DxD is in its, what, 6th season? Which that's actually something I do want to go and watch sometime, because other than the lewd stuff, it's a really good show from what I've seen and heard. But as for this one, it's more comedic with your romance thrown in and boobs, lots of boobs. And, yeah. That's just the only way I'm going to. It's 3 seasons long, somehow. Or 2 seasons and a couple of OVAs. So, for that, yeah, watch it. If that's the kind of thing you're into, watch it. It's pretty good. And now we're going to move on to One Punch Man. Season 1, because I haven't seen Season 2 yet. Don't at me, fools. But One Punch Man is literally what it sounds like. The dude kills pretty much everything in one punch. At least till the last episode of the first season, when he actually encounters an enemy worthy of his time. But for the most part, it's just, you know, your typical superhero kind of thing, except for he shows up late to most fights or gets distracted from being able to kill the villain. So that's how they expand the time slot. Well, that and the comedic bits with him and his android gay buddy. No, they're not actually gay. That literally is just me screwing around for once. But, yeah, they have an odd relationship between the two of them, and they work together just fine when they have to. But yeah, bunch of superheroes, and they don't want to accept him into their ranks unless they actually need to, and, well, the time came upon when they needed to, and you should one-punch that like button, because there's another show that if you haven't seen it for some reason yet, you should watch it. Because the first season is gold, and I hear the second season is even better. But I'll get to that when I get to it. Just like everything else I've said that about. In time. But the next one, which I'm going to appropriately timestamp at 420, because that literally just passed, is, well, I say appropriately when really this is more of a depressing show. Orange. I'm not going to bother making pun. This is another one of those odd ones. Kind of like Erased. You know, the main character is a girl who, as I want to say, the show was about her trying to get in touch with a guy who seems like he's not having a good time with things. along with the rest of her friends and try to like hang out with him, befriend him, show him a good time, because she kind of like somehow went back to be able to save his life from him killing himself. I don't remember the entire way that all went, but I do remember that that's the plot, and we don't find that out until like halfway through, so I guess I should have said spoiler, but it's a good show if you like the touchy-feely kind of bullshit. Like, a couple of, depressing parts, talk of suicide aside, but it was something. And I think it's one of the shorter ones. Yeah, 13 episodes, so it's worth the time. At least in my opinion. At least if you're into those kind of shows, but I say that about a lot of things, don't I? Speaking of shows you need to be in a certain kind of mood for, we have So You Wanna Be a Twintail, or a Twintail Need Narimasu. That's right, I just put a fucking weeb twist on it. Got problem, punk. Anyway, this one's another one of those weird gender-bendy kind of magical girl series. It's not as dark as a couple of other magical girl series I have went over in the past. Actually, this is probably the most lighthearted out of all of them. Where a young boy somehow gets a hold of a device that'll let him turn into a girl with twin tails that has their own powers. And again, I guess I can't really call gender bending weird anymore, because in 2021 that's kind of the norm, isn't it? Meh. Whatever. Political points aside, it was a good one. It was, kind of weird, obviously, but it was good. Because a couple of his teammates who also end up being his friends kind of have a thing for him and find it kind of weird that he got stuck into this, but they also kind of dig it. So either way, it works for them. But it's another shorter one, 12 episodes, and it's one of those shows, I'm going to say to watch it because it has some gay shit. Honestly, in a couple of letters, I'll probably mention the literal only show I don't recommend you watching. But for now, so far, yes, of course, I say watch it if you think you'll like it. And this is another one of those shows. Here's a weird thing, though. The enemies that these magical girls have to face are all based off from fetishes, which is a really weird plot point for the enemies, but for the comedic bits, it was pretty good. Like, I won't lie. Speaking of fetishes, wow, that's a weird transition for this one. We have Ouran Highschool Host Club, which I'm going to say the Japanese version of, because it's basically the same thing. And this one is about, well, in general, it's about a group of boys who tend to other, female students, and I think other clientele's whims, not in the sexual sense, just like company and people to talk to. But the story initially revolves around a girl who ends up breaking a really expensive vase. So she decides to like team up with them and start working with them, and eventually, there's a whole romance angle between her and at least one of the guys. And it unravels over time, and other than a little bit of homoeroticism, not in the sexual sense, just in the overall feel of it. It has that romance angle, a straight romance angle, and I can't really say much for a couple of the guys, but that's another story. But And it's a good show. You know, I was surprised I liked it as much as I did. It's one of those shows that if you're a guy you don't want to admit you like, but here I am admitting it on YouTube. But it's not that long. You know, it's probably what a couple of guys said to each other too. Heyo. And in general, watch it. If that's if you don't mind how it looks and you want to give it a try, go ahead, because it's actually a lot better than it looks. Because it looks like some kind of Bishi boys love crap, which it's actually not, surprisingly. And now for another anime I have watched only one season of for some reason or another. Overlord, because I haven't watched the second season yet for some reason. And in Overlord, it's another one of those isekai kind of things where the main character, landed himself permanently in a virtual world. However, instead of, building up from where he started, this dude's just all powerful to begin with, and he has an entire fucking association of sorts with a bunch of other characters who are NPCs for the most part, as I recall. Because you got your Yandere succubus type, you have a pissed off vampire girl or whatever the hell she is. And those are actually the only two I remember, but he has a whole assortment of characters who back him. Demons and Gemini twins and the like. But because I don't remember a whole lot about it, I remember there was a really cool fight scene between him and the vampire girl at the very end of the first season, which wasn't too bad. But as far as the first season goes, it's not that long, like 12, 20-ish episodes, right? Yeah, 13 episodes for the first season, so, I plan on watching the second season at some point, and like as I've said with a dozen other things, when I do, I'll let you guys know. So check it out if you want. Watch a couple episodes, see if it's for you, and I just stuttered over my own words. But since I'm putting P's and O's together, I may as well just. I'm gonna get into another one, which the gaming channel is like 99% all about. Pokemon. I've only seen up to like the Unova series because I started getting meh around there. But as far as, Adventure League all the way through whatever the hell the Sinnoh one was called, it was actually a pretty good show, I liked Misty, I liked Dawn, I liked May. Honestly, what was it, the Golden Islands or wherever the hell the in-between season Kanto and Johto was, that was probably one of the best seasons so far, other than a completely pointless plotline with the GS Bowl, which was probably supposed to fit in with the fourth movie, but never actually did. But Pokemon as a whole, at least the 4 seasons of it, and apparently Journeys, which I still need to get to watching, and the YouTube exclusive series, that's all really good stuff. Especially the YouTube exclusive series, because that shit was fire, man. The ones where they actually followed Red's journey in animated form, that was so good. And I really wish they used that kind of animation style for it more. But yeah, obviously Pokemon, a majority of, is still worth watching even to this day. Except for, the feeling of, Ash, you're an idiot. We're moving to another one of those shows that I barely remember anything about, so I'm just going to give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. Popotan. It was about, I think, a guy who met a house full of girls. I know where you think you know where this is going, but no. and they do a lot of comedic and cute stuff together. And but yeah, that's really about all I can say about it since I don't remember a ton. So, thumbs up, thumbs down on watching it. Since I don't remember a ton on it, I'm not going to give either. I'm just going to give the middle thumb. But I do remember it being a good show, so if you watch an episode or two and find out how it is, go for it. It wasn't that bad as I remember, otherwise I would say it was complete shit. And now for another one of those anime that is less than for children. Prison School. And I know there's a lot of people who already know what type of thing this is and what I might say about it, but then there are others who don't. So, to start, it's one of the more raunchy but still tame anime out there. Like, it's not uncensored like my wife is the student council president, but there's a lot of stuff in it. You know, ecchi, fan servicey type of stuff. Because you have your male half of the prison school and your female half of the prison school, and sometimes the two classes intertwine. Again, not talking sexually for the most part, but some of the characters do end up growing a kind of relationship, not in the boning or loving sense, but in a sense that they're friends and have to get stuck into awkward positions sometimes, including a couple of scenes that derived a bunch of a certain kind of book to sprout up on the internet. But if you like your perverted comedies, this is one of the shows that's for you. Because that's basically what it is. It's a perverted comedy. You know, your guys who are a bunch of friends are trying to figure out how to do either escape or peek in on the girls at any given time. And then your girls who are trying to screw with the boys, and then you have your hot warden who has hot associates and a little bit of gayness there, just a little. So yeah, if you like fan servicey comedies, watch it. It's totally for you. And there's an OVA that has a bit of a weird twist on things. And now for the last one that I'm going to be reviewing for this letter, we have Punchline. Wow, there's only 3 in the letter R, so I may as well include that in this. Well, 4, but whatever. We have Punchline. And I don't remember a lot about Punchline. Yeah, I literally actually don't remember anything about it. That must be one of those weird ones that's locked up in my psyche that I didn't absolutely love, or the couple that I absolutely hated. So, just like I might have to do a rewatch of at some point or another, I will say that I remember it being absolutely weird and kind of messed up in a couple ways at the end. But overall, I think it's worth watching a couple episodes of if you're not easily confused. But that's really all I can say about it. Sorry, I wish I could say more, but I can't. And this is sorry. This is where the spot would normally go in for me to do a review of ReZero, but since I'm rewatching ReZero in the director's cut, I'm just gonna hold that off and throw it to the wayside for the time being. And instead get on ReLife, which is not one of those shows that falls under Steins Gate, Chaos Head, that kind of genre of show, even though the spelling would make you think otherwise. It actually follows a guy who wished he could go back to when he was younger, and, well, somebody actually helped him do that. So he took a pill, went back to when he was a teenager, and has to go to school all over again. And this is all during a trial period to find out if he wants to remain that way or go back to normal. and some secrets are revealed throughout the series otherwise, both for the good and bad of it all. But it wasn't a bad show. You know, one of those that I watched weekly because it intrigued me, and it was pretty good. It's just a slice of life kind of thing with a little bit of science fiction dribbled in, but it's still pretty good overall. So give a few episodes worth of a watch and see if you like it or not. That's all I got to say about it. Jesus. Alright, next up. We have Renai Bokuen, which is also known as Love Tyrant, which, again, it's one of those shows I don't remember a whole lot about, but I remember it's about a girl, like a demon, I think, who falls in love with a guy, and shenanigans ensue. It's mostly a comedy. There are a couple of action-y bits, especially when there are parts where she kind of goes crazy, and he needs to try and stop her and bring her down to earth, so to speak, sometimes literally. But that's all I really remember from it. It was cute, it was funny, had a couple of good, fight scenes. Not like huge climactic battles, but like she tries to kill people or something like that at one point because of her going crazy, and yeah. But that's one of those shows I will also say that if you are in the mood for it, go ahead and watch it, man. Why not? And the last one on this will be another one of those fan servicey type shows, Rosario Vampire. And Rosario Vampire is about it's about a boy who goes to an all monster school, but because he got on the wrong bus or something, or he got transferred or whatever it was. So he meets a variety of different monsters, and there's a different one featured in every episode where our main girl, who's a vampire, has to help him out and save him from probably dying or at least getting the shit kicked out of him. 2 seasons long. The characters for the harem are Vampire and Ice Spirit. Wow, I can only remember Mocha and Missouri. A succubus. Oh god, there's a succubus. And I know there's at least one more in season 2. Mocha's little sister pops in. Oh yeah, there's a witch. The last main girl is a witch. But they're all a bunch of lovable characters that you'll come to enjoy throughout the series, and they're all pining for his rod. Just kidding, but seriously. It was a good show. Lots of fan service, bunch of fight scenes, a lot of comedy moments. Comedic, I guess, would be proper grammar. So, on that note, obviously you should watch it. If that's the kind of thing you're into, 100%. But that is, there's a lot of anime in the S category, so I don't need to do those in this episode. I might just record those tomorrow, too. So, with those out of the way, I'm going to do the outro. As per usual, hit the like button, it helps out a lot. Subscribe to both channels, ring the bell like Facebook, call, Twitter, and Twitch, because I stream gaming stuff every single day, but will start anime eventually. And comment down below anything that I have not brought up in one of these episodes so far, if you would like me to check it out and watch it. And until next time, has been the Blaze of King, signing out with King's Critiques. Ta-ta for now. Peace.